Hi, my name is Abhinav, and this series is called Design Journeys. We invite some amazing designers who are working at some of the best companies in India, products that you have probably heard of and used yourself. And what we do is we ask them about how did they get started, what were their design journeys, and try to dive deep into the details of their success story. What's up, everyone? And hello, Supriya.
Hello.
Hey, welcome. So I think you're traveling recently, right?
Yes, I was.
Where did you go?
So I went on a trip to Leh and I stayed there for a month. So that was an amazing experience. And I just want like the since the time I've been back, I am just like asking everybody to go on trips and to walk from maybe mountains. I'm more of a mountain person, so I just like I'm persuading everybody to just go and walk from the mountains, and you're going to have like a life changing experiences. You get to like explore parts of yourself which you cannot explore while sitting on a desk. So I think to all the designers, non-designers, tech folks out there, just go out and have fun, talk to strangers, and it's going to change.
And this was a solo trip or a group kind of trip?
It was a solo trip. So yeah,
Wow.
but I just like went there, stayed in hostels, and kind of like interacted with a lot of folks. Just made a lot of friends. I think travel has been one of the things wherein I've just like become more confident in my own self, because I just start talking to strangers and there's no fear. It's the most liberating feeling when you're talking to someone who doesn't even know you. So that there's no fear of judgment or fear of anything for that matter. So it's been like very liberating, especially like traveling alone, talking to strangers, making friends with strangers, and then being friends with them and traveling to another different location. So yeah.
So there's really good internet there for you to be able to work there, actually spend an entire month still working on design, still collaborating with your team. Like,
Yes.
how crazy was that experience? Have you done this before, or was this kind of like the first time?
So I've worked from the mountains before. This was my second time, but I did not really face challenges with the internet. So I am a person, when I'm traveling, I really like need to experience the local. So I was staying in a village which was a little away from the main Leh market. So the Leh market has amazing internet and you can just sit in any cafe and work from there. But I was putting up in a village which was called the Shea village, and it's like 15 kilometers away. So I used to like hitchhike every day in the morning from Shea to Leh. I used to hitchhike. I used to like sit in the cafes there, work. I made sure that I'm just like letting my teams know that what, I won't be available for XYZ hours. So can we just like work maybe in the morning, or maybe work towards the evening whenever I have my internet with me. So that way it was very crazy, because you had to like, it was just like going to an office, but an office with great views, right? And every day it was a new ride. You don't know who you will be hitchhiking with. And I used to like travel in the local buses as well. And trust me, the local buses there, they played like great Bollywood lo-fi music from like 2000. So Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum ka gaane chal rahe.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Khana kaisa tha? How was the food?
Khana. So I was staying in a homestay, so I was lucky enough to get good local food. So and I did went to some inside chote chote galiyan also to explore the local food. And to my surprise, वहाँ के momos best नहीं थे. You get better momos in Delhi for sure. But yeah, I think the food was decent. I tried a dish which was called paba, and it had like a curry like situation going on the side, and we ate it from the hand. And the locals are very good there. So when it comes to their own culture, they sit with you and they'll spend all their time and to teach you कि अच्छे से कैसे खाते हैं and what is the correct way of
So let's rewind back in time. Let's rewind all the way back. I'm just creating
Yeah.
sound effects. But let's go back to when you were in Miranda House, right? What was that experience like?
So Miranda and DU in general, I think when I was in school, I really wanted to experience the North Campus life. It was glorified in so many ways, because you have like street food, you have a lot of theater going on. I was into theater in my school, like during last years of my school. I did some theater, and I really wanted to explore how the theater circuit at the college level also looks like. So I was pretty excited for all of those things. I used to see my seniors, having fun in the campus, having fun in the college, Miranda House. And yeah, it was great to see them. And once I got into the college, my life totally changed, because I am somebody who just loves to be very close to the nature. And our college, it's a heritage building. It's like all red bricks, and the sunsets were beautiful. We had like big lawns, and everything was so good. We had like a great canteen in the college, so the food was amazing. I'm also a big foodie, so I just like love eating. So rajma chawal, didli ka, it's like it's the thing, right? Chola bhatura, everything. So we used to get all this good stuff in the canteen, and I remember I used to stay back till even after my college. So classes used to end by 5, but I used to stay there till sometimes 6, so that I could see the sunset and the red bricks, and it was like great aesthetic. So I did all of it. I usually used to go when I was a part of the theater club. I used to go to the college early in the morning, like 8:30. I used to reach there. I was always very excited to be at the college in the morning, because again, the college looked very beautiful, and you could just sit in the lawns. Even in the winters, the sun was so beautiful. Like when you're in Delhi, it's very cold in the morning, but then sitting in the sun is a bliss. So all of it, I think I used to enjoy the entire natural surrounding. Of course, Delhi is not known for being good in the environment side of the thing.
You did economics, right?
Yes, I did economics there. So that was again like a very different story, because now I'm a designer by profession, and
Yeah.
I studied economics. So that transition also, I never knew that I will end up being a designer. So the pandemic happened, and I was like, so I was into marketing and strategy and that side of the thing. So I started to intern with this Delhi-based startup only. And it was a very early stage startup. So they were like, you know what, come on board and head the marketing department for us. And I was like, okay, it was a good learning opportunity. So, and that is when I, realized that we made like a lot of creatives and collaterals that were going out for campaigns and on social media. And I realized that I was giving a lot of feedback on, what, the color is not right, let's fix it. The alignment is a little, it used to make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So let's just fix it. And I was giving itna zyada feedback to the designers. And after a point, I realized that, you know what, I think I can, do this. So that, and I made sure that, that internship is not something that is stopping me from learning design. So I ended that internship in 3 months. And that was the time after those 3 months, I just dedicated myself to learning these professional softwares. I started to learn Illustrator, and then Photoshop is something that I learned. And then I made a portfolio. It was a rigorous 3 months of learning for me, just learn, make, learn, make, learn, make. Sometimes I used to post it on social media as well, so that I get like commission projects and everything. I got 2 commission projects from my seniors, but that was it. And one day, and again, here I would like to point out the importance of networking, because one of my friends from the internship that I did like a couple of months back, she told me that Ankur Warikoo is hiring, and because you're designing and putting things out there, she just thought that she'll let me know. And I was just very lucky to be at the right place at the right time. And I just applied for that internship, and luckily I got through, and there was no looking back after that internship, because that was my first big design gig. So that's how the story happened. And again, I never thought that I would navigate from economics to design, because at this point in time also I was thinking that, okay, design is a good side hustle, it will make me good money. And for a job, I do have economics, so I'll sit in placements, I'll get
It is a big placement. I think 19 lakhs or something like that, right? The packages are really good in Miranda House.
See, I don't know how true those are, Supriya. You can let us know. But yeah, it is notorious for having number one high cutoff and high packages. So what was that scene like?
So the packages wala situation was not very good at that time, because I graduated in 2021. So pandemic was happening. So I remember the highest package someone got from our company was 12 or 14 lakhs. So that was the package that was highest. And even I got through, the placements, and I got through this company, which is a Japanese consultancy firm, and I was offered around 8 to 9 lakhs. And trust me, I was very happy ki, oh wow, I have a good package with me. So after the college, I'll have like a nice cushion. I don't have to worry about anything. I can chill. Now was also the time wherein I could focus more on design, because college ke baad the situation is sorted. But I was still contemplating, because design was something that I was enjoying. I was getting excited by new things that were coming up. So I was seeing but I used to doubt myself a lot. Like that was a phase wherein I used to doubt myself a lot because internships were happening, work was happening, and often, when you're dealing with freelance clients and you are like a self-taught designer, you just like end up in a situation wherein you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have any help to seek, you don't have people around you who can possibly help you, because I was not in a community kind of a situation until I obviously entered 10K designers. So it was very.
What was the benefit of that? What was the benefit of joining the 10K community for you?
So I think that's changed a lot of things for me, because I was in a phase previously wherein I was doubting myself as a designer. I did not know what to do next. I did not know how to take feedback positively. And once I was in the community, I think I could not just understand how to, navigate through these small aspects of design, wherein you are good at taking feedback, wherein you start appreciating the power of a community. But then you are also in a situation wherein you are seeing yourself shaping up as an individual. Because I remember all of us used to be in the class and you guys used to share a lot of your personal stories and how things happened with you in the college. And I could see that you guys are being yourself without any, fear or without any judgment. And that is when I realized that, especially like after knowing 10K and talking to people here, I realized that how giving the internet can be. Like, there's nothing to be scared of the internet. It's your space. You can just like go and have fun there, make friends. And I think that happened with me as well. It shaped me as a designer 100%. I started to take feedback in a much more positive and a constructive way. I was literally seeing people, giving in their time to make me better. And I was like, wow, this is some shit, right? Because somebody else giving their valuable time so that you can get better in your life. I'd never seen that before. And teachers and professors in college were very difficult to approach. And either it would just used to be like just DM a mentor and they'll be like, okay, yes, let's hop on to a voice call. And that was it. It was that easy. I remember initially I was very, very, I used to think a lot that should I message someone? Should I ask for help? But then working with Ankur also made me realize that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So it's better to ask and then hear a no than to not ask and assume things. So I asked for a lot of help. I reached out to a lot of people to understand certain things, to understand certain aspects. And it was not just design, but it was also related to how I can navigate through my freelance clients, how I can navigate through work in general, how I can, work better with teams. So that way, I think 10K was very different from, my college scenario where I just felt that everything is so much approachable. And there was everybody was very different. People were talking about AR, people were talking about gaming, people were talking about NFTs also after a point in time. And that never happened in college. Everybody, either they talked about placements or they talked about their masters and some economics exams that they are planning to give. And I could never relate to it. But most of these things, I think I got like excited by कि अच्छा design में ये भी कर सकते हैं. There's product, there's web. And then AR came into picture. So I was like, oh, I can combine my graphic design skills and AR and come up with some great experience. So I think that's when the entire exposure thing happened to me. And I just like got to know a lot of people I'm still in touch with. I remember after the cohort ended, I learned a lot from, people putting out their work, using Twitter, using, just being myself. I think that was a big takeaway, because I always used to fear just putting myself out there and log kya kahenge, kya sochenge and all of that. But this community changed that for me.
What's it like working for Ankur Warikoo?
Okay. Again, I think Ankur Warikoo's internship was one of my first big design gigs. So I remember when I started to work with the team, I was the only designer. And that was the first time the team was also experimenting with having a designer on board. So I used to design all the social media stuff, all the, creative, the banners and everything I used to do. And Ankur used to, give me feedback himself because there was no other designer in the team. And that was the most intimidating situation, because I was only 3 months into learning design and I got the, internship. So मुझे नहीं पता था कि how do I explain my designs, how do I explain certain decisions that I took in design. So I used to struggle with a lot of things, and Ankur kept on asking questions. He never gave me the answers, but I think that's the best part about him. He'll only ask you questions so that you can explore your and discover your own answers. And that's when most of my learning happened, because I started to, go on reading articles. And that was also a time which was overlapping with 10K. So a lot of questions that, I was like, oh, I don't know how to navigate through. So I used to like, reach out to people who were into the design space back then. And they used to like help me out. Yeah, that's the way you think about it. That's the way you explain your design decision. That's the way like I remember one of this session that we were having, and we talked about hierarchy, and we were talking about a lot of visual design stuff. And that's when I realized that, okay, मैं थोड़ा सा opacity decrease करके I can just create that difference. And I implemented it in, my internship. So that went very nicely, a combination of a place wherein you're learning constantly and you're applying it in the real life. So you're not just learning and designing for your portfolio, but you're also applying it at a place wherein, you are working real time, things are going out to the audience. So that combination worked really well for me. And at the same time, FamPay also happened. So I started to intern with FamPay during that time. But I was not a design intern. I was a growth intern, because they needed somebody who's experienced in stuff, and design I couldn't get through. And FamPay was a very interesting idea. So I was like, I should, like, if I'm given a growth internship, I should try. And that's the best part about working in a startup, that you can try multiple things there. So I did like both design and growth things. But coming back to Ankur's this thing, I just like deviated a little. But coming back to the WariCrew internship, I think it's a very small team. So all of us are responsible for our own work. And the best part is that all of the individuals, even though they are so different, they come together to make one particular thing work. I think I keep learn. I think I have shaved myself a lot. The confidence that I've got, I think when I'm okay to say no to people now, just because I knew that people could trust me with certain things. So I can ask for more time. I can ask for certain things. And all of these lessons, small things that I learned at Ankur's, they just kept getting validated in the 10K experience. So I was like, okay, I am on the right path, because everything that I learned, I was learning, I was hearing from people, I was, reading a lot of things, and it just kept on validating, because people were just focusing on that. Take the feedback in the right direction, be okay with saying no, be okay to ask for help, and all of these concepts. And that's how, it helped me. And one thing that was best about interning at Ankur's was that I get to, experiment with a lot of different kinds of projects. So initially I was doing like social media and banners. Then I focused myself on doing YouTube thumbnails. So it's an art in itself, right? So I explored how there's a science and there's an art side of, thumbnail making. So I, just learned that. Then I got the opportunity to teach it to people also. So that was a very different experience. I never taught people designing. So that was like my very first experience wherein I just taught people that doing that. Then because I was in 10K and I was doing UI UX, so I got to design a couple of splash screens. I did like a website redesign. I did like multiple of things, and now I'm also exploring like product in general. So there was a bunch of opportunities that I got, and every time I was excited for something, I think I got that, and I got to, just try and experiment with that kind of project. So that's been crazy, and I got to do so many things, and that is something that keeps me just going and, trying out different things.
So one thing I definitely love about your story is right when you were kind of, let's just say, graduating COVID around that time, you really found online communities like pretty much at the perfect time. And how that kind of integrated with your story is crazy, because like, for example, Ankur and I we've spoken. He's in fact sponsored multiple people for the 10K designers cohort. And just to see that there are now on the internet these kind of crews, right? Of course, yours is called WariCrew, which is we're also kind of community based where we just call it just 10K. But it's so great to see that there are these just groups of people who've just never met before coming together with this kind of shared purpose and kind of doing amazing stuff on the internet together.
Correct. And I think this is like a bigger lesson for everybody who's, just seeing this, because we usually tend to think that internet is a very bad place. It's a very, negative space. I used to, come from that point of view. But having these online interactions, being a part of these communities, I think it has just changed the notion completely for me, because people are very helpful. Internet is very forgiving. Even if you're like doing some mistake, just own up to your mistake and it's okay, like, and move on. So I think that has been a bigger learning for me, and it's just more liberating for me to put myself out there, because I know there will be people who will support me, will help me out if I'm in a trouble like situation.
Yeah. I think it's kind of also like the way I see it. It's less of an intimidating experience. Just like even something as simple as Twitter, your day one on Twitter is a very overwhelming thing. You're just like, dude, how do all these people know each other? How do they have so much stuff going on? And how do I even connect with them? Like I'm pretty much at 0 follower. It just paint a example. So to see groups of people come together, very interesting. I think communities just as a unit on the internet, just a very interesting space.
Absolutely. Yes. I remember one of these experiences wherein, we used to struggle to speak on the camera whenever we used to like share our stories during our live sessions at 10K, right? So I remember how there used to be a constant thing on the chat going on, wherein people were like, Supriya, OP, please go ahead. We are here. And people used to cheer each other and lift each other up. And that's the most beautiful thing to see, right? It's very kind, and it's honestly like a very pure and an innocent emotion wherein people are just growing together and uplifting each other.
Yeah. So Supriya, you've been working as a designer for a couple of years. You've had a mixed variety of experiences. Freelance, working at a startup, which is FamPay. What are you now excited about? What's kind of the next kind of big mission or project for Supriya?
So I think so I recently left my job at FamPay, and again it was a very I don't know. It was a decision wherein I will be giving up on a good amount of money that I was receiving every month, which allowed me to travel, which allowed me to invest in in just like good food and good experiences. And now I am in a situation wherein I'd have to like reconsider all of it, because now, you will have to like figure out maybe freelance projects or part-time situation. But I am honestly very excited. So I'm joining the BX cohort too. I'm excited for it.
Yes.
Learning honestly like just makes me very excited. And I remember whenever I've been in situations wherein मुझे कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा कि आगे क्या करना है. Everything is like very confusing, because even though you know that a lot is happening in the design area, in the design sector, you don't know what to pick first, right? So I think I'll go back to my basics. I'll learn. I'm very excited to learn about creating brand experiences in general. So I think that is on top of my list. Then I am also going to experiment with a freelance kind of a model for myself, because I think traveling is something that I am loving, and that kind of an experience I really want to have it almost once in every 3 months. That is something that I'm aiming for. So I think freelance model is going to be something which is definitely like going to be helpful for me, because I can be flexible. I can select clients according to how many working hours I have, and that flexibility will be there with me. So definitely experimenting with a freelance model, doing freelance full time. There is a lot of stuff around AR that I learned from Varun. So I really want to like experiment with that, work with brands to create good marketing experiences. I know that I can do good graphics, but I really want to like combine my combine my graphics with the AR, and maybe create something exciting. So that's definitely there on my list. Yeah.
Awesome. What's your next travel location?
Oh, it's Kerala. Kerala by the end of this year. So yeah, I usually I'm a mountain person, so I always like make plans for mountains. But this time I was like, you know what, enough of mountains, and you can just experiment and go to the beach.
Try something new.
Yeah, do that. So I'll be going to Kerala for almost a month.
Awesome.
We should have some kind of symbol, like that cut or something like okay, is about to wrap up.
Oh, you have it.
It just it says design feedback because I accidentally used a purple marker, and now it's not going out. I got set.
Okay, if I take a picture and post about this.
Yeah. Sure, bring it up with you.
Please. Okay, it's a wrap. Yay! Thank you.
Thanks, Supriya.
Thank you so much for coming on.